from Phoenix, Arizona. It's a President's Day Tournament 2006. I'm Greg GK Porter for George Langevin Video Sports Productions. And we have the KC Dynamos against the Inter FC Premier 91. The KC Dynamos are going from left to right on your picture screen, and the Inter FC Premier are going from a right to left. Let's get the lineup for the KC Dynamos. They are head coached by Mike Safe. The keeper is Shelby Brutton. Also at a keeper position is Kelsey Gockhauer. Number 3 at center mid is Christy Klein. Number 4 at an outside mid or center midfield position is Jordan J.J. Jackson. Number 5 at a forward position is Morgan Marlborough. Number 6 at a center midfield position is Hillary Johnson. Number 7 at a defender or forward position is Ariel Rank. Number 8 at a center midfield position is Michelle Sumner. Number 9 at a forward or defender position is KT Martin. Number 10 at a defender position is Elizabeth Wilson. Number 11 at a defender position is Alex Hess. Number 13 at a center midfield position or forward is Pee Henry. Number 14 at a forward or midfield position is Amanda Bundrant. Number 17 at an outside mid or forward position is Taylor Eisenhower. And number 24 at a midfield position or defender is Nikki Dittman. And that's your lineup for the KC Dynamos. Let's get the Inter FC Premier 91. Their head coach is MJ Tate. The keeper is Chesley Price. Number 1 at a forward position is Shalane Janis. Number 2 at midfield is Morgan Rockwell. Number 4 at winger is Erica Viwe. Number 7 is Chelsea Price. Number 8 at a forward position is Madeline Cartwright. Number 10 at a forward position is Amber Wadsworth. Number 11 at a winger position is Sarah Christian. Number 12 is the sweeper Katie Crossland. Number 13 is defender Rachel Ulanch. Number 16 is defender Cammie Jensen. Number 15 is midfielder Markel Reddish. Number 17 is defender Chase Joyner. Number 20 is forward Casey Voltness. And number 22 is defender Lindsay Bra. And now that ball is on the outside, lastly touched by the all blue of the Inter FC Premier 91. The KC Dynamos are throwing it in. Dynamos get a touch there. And now toward the central. And they get a teammate to run onto it is Wilson. Elizabeth Wilson passing it backwards as they want to try to coordinate their offensive attack into the attacking third, but the keeper able to make the save coming off the line. Chesley Price, the keeper for Inter FC Premier, and now that ball is headed toward the defensive third. But defender Alex Hess making a nice play, getting it forward and running on with a nice run on the far side. And we have a whistle. I believe that run was being made by Pippi Henry. And a whistle, so now it's going to be a free kick for Inter FC Premier. Off the quick header there was Casey Boldness, and now they're still on at soccer ball, but now they've lost it to the central. But now they get a player to run on to it rather quickly there. Down to central, however, losing it again, and now with it is Lindsay Bra. And now down to central again, trying to continue the attack are the Dynamos. And that ball will go out of play on the near side. No score between the KC Dynamos and the Inter FC Premier here at the President's Day Tournament 2006. That ball thrown in on the near side. J.J. Jackson putting a lot of pressure, and she's able to win it for her teammates, Michelle Summer. Summer now on the near side, turns. Summer sends a pass, and it goes off the defender for Inter FC Premier and past the goal line, so it's now going to be a corner kick. So the Dynamos with a set piece here. No score early in the first half. 40-minute halves for the girls in girls under 15 category. Setting it up is Jordan J.J. Jackson. And Jackson finds a teammate but can't control it. Jackson will get it just outside the 18-yard box. Sends in another try, and this one is a save by Price. So Price making the save, and Chelsea driving it down a field. Coming into the space that time was Wilson, and Wilson sends it all the way down over into the corner, and making sure nobody was going to do anything other with it was Lindsay Broff. And now that ball goes out of pass on the far side touchline, out of bounds on the far side line of play, and so it's a throw-in now for the Dynamos. Bundrant, a quick touch, and then it goes out of play. Bra throws it in. And now it is in the defensive third, and retreating there and making a nice lunge towards that side was Elizabeth Wilson, and Wilson almost saw that ball get away from her. Her momentum was going in one direction, and that ball was headed in the other direction, but she was able to make the play. And on it now is KT Martin. Martin under a lot of pressure gets her teammate to push up J.J. Jackson to help out. Still no score in the first half. A throw-in from the defensive third of the Inter FC Premier. And that ball rolls out of play past the goal line, and it will now be a goal kick. Price with a goal kick. Getting it over there to Chase Joyner. Joyner to her teammate down to central, but they cannot continue on any further, as standing tall at midfield is the Dynamos of Kansas City. And now having to resort to play defense in their own defensive third is Utah's Inter FC Premier. And they now have it. They win the soccer ball down to central, and they want to go out to the wide with their attack. And a early ball played over into the corner. Trying to chase it down was Chelsea Price. Had too much pace on it, but now they get a header back the other way with Reddish. Now here's Price. Price in the corner, trying to locate a teammate, but a lot of traffic into space, and that ball is knocked out, though it's knocked out by the KC Dynamos. So the Inter FC Premier throw it in. But the Dynamos in the back, playing well, pushing it up to midfield. And chasing after now is Marlborough. Morgan gets it to her teammate. And now into the central of play for the Dynamos as they get a ball to the wide, and that had a little bit too much pace on it. Chasing after it there, as you saw, was Jordan J.J. Jackson, and Jordan could not keep it in. So now in the defensive third, it will be a throw-in for Inter FC Premier. No score here in the first 12, 13 minutes of the match. in a girls under 15 bracket here in a President's Day Tournament 2006. And a keeper coming off her line towards the top of the box to make the save and send that ball all the way down past midfield. Nikki Dittman was over there and making sure nobody got past her with that soccer ball. So it'll be a throw-in, though, for Inter FC Premier. Lastly touched out by the Dynamos. Inter FC throwing it in, and that ball driven back towards midfield. They get a touch on it, does Inter FC Premier, and they cannot control it, and so it'll be a throw-in from the far side touchline. The Arizona area has not gotten the rain that they have needed, and that's why this field is browner than it would be ordinarily, although we are in wintertime, but a long period of time where they have not gotten any rain, and that is why it is a situation here where you just basically see a brown field. You can only water so much, and then it starts costing you a lot, and you just need Mother Nature to help you out, and it's one of those things where that has not happened. On the far side, Inter FC Premier, they have the soccer ball and trying to route it to a defender inside the field of play, could not, and so now it is going to be, but they were fortunate enough that it was lastly touched out by the Dynamos, so they were able to get a goal kick after it had gone past the goal line. And that was more of a mental play there, because they more than anything baited the Dynamos into knocking it out of play, and sometimes you just have to play more mentally than you do on a physical side of things. Although to be truly successful in any sport, you've got to have the combination working for you. And down to Central now, Inter FC on the attack. They have a chance on a near side. Still on a soccer ball in the 18-yard box, and that one was broken up. And that ball is back upfield as the Dynamos have it. And that ball going to the wide side of your picture. With it, the KC Dynamos trying to keep it in at time was Nikki Dittman, and it goes past the goal line. So now there's going to be a goal kick for the keeper, Shelby Brunton. So Shelby will tee it up there and see if her team can get it going back up the field. And now here's a goal kick, that ball, and it goes out of play. Going to be a throw-in.
Come on, Ariel. Let's go.
Throw-in for the Dynamos.
Come on, Jay.
The Kansas City area. Trying to get somebody to run onto it on the near side, and they do have somebody there in the space, but it doesn't last long as Morgan Rockwell coming back to make the play. Off the header. And that ball now as Reddish making a touch on it, and it goes to the Central now, and it goes out of play. Or actually not out of play, it was a foul on the play, and it'll be a free kick. Free kick for the football club, Inter FC Premier. And they're just past midfield, the center circle, or actually it's in the center circle, and they're driving it now into the corner. Chasing after it that time was number 11, Alex Hess, and Hess has played positionally well so far here in this contest. Now down to Central, trying to get a touch on it was Pippi Henry. Couldn't do it. However, now Henry again pushing it all the way down towards Morgan Marlborough. And running on to it now is Summer. Michelle Summer getting it to her teammates to the wide side now. Nicely playing, as you saw there, was Bundrant. Bundrant, nice run, and it's going to be a free kick for Inter FC Premier. So Inter FC Premier with a free kick. We have no score here in the soccer match. The first 19 minutes so far. The Dynamos and Inter FC Premier. That ball now sent all the way down. Taylor Eisenhower getting a header. And we have a whistle. Whistle into space, and it is going to be now a free kick. And a free kick is going to go for the KC Dynamos. Most of the touches so far in this contest have been coordinated very well by the Dynamos. But both teams have not gotten super quality chances inside the box. So we still have no score as we're about midway through the first half of action. Reddish drawing it back. And that ball caroms back to the Central dangerously, and just quickly as their defender in the deep back able to swing it over there to the far side of the field on a switch. As they had a player bearing down from the Dynamos coming at them. Still no score in the first half of action. The President's Day 2006 tournament here in Phoenix, Arizona. Greg G.K. Porter, happy to be with you. And it'll be a throw-in for the Dynamos. Or rather for the Inter FC Premier. The Premier throwing in over into the corner, trying to get a player to run onto it. Can't do it as standing tall in the space was Nikki Dittman. Dittman not allowing a player to get around her. And so now, as it was lastly touched out by the blue of Inter FC Premier, the KC Dynamos are going to throw it in. Elizabeth Wilson on the throw-in. The far side touchline of your picture. And it's knocked out by Inter FC Premier. So they gain more real estate to throw it in into the corner. Trying to run onto it. Two defenders into space trying to challenge Ariel Rank. And Rank is able to knock it off of the Inter FC Premier team. And so KC Dynamos will throw it in. And they'll throw it in just at about the place where you would take a corner kick. And that's a good position of the field. They're in the top of the 18-yard box, but couldn't get a good enough shot that time. And so now it will be a goal kick. Jordan J.J. Jackson had that one teed up, but she might have wanted to take a little bit more time with it and get a better shot. She felt she was pressured into space somehow and rushed the shot, but in actuality she had a little bit more time, just didn't realize it. And this ball is now sent out of the defensive third of Inter FC Premier into the Central. They have Jordan J.J. Jackson with it. Jackson accelerates. Jackson, nice change of direction, weaving her way towards the central of the field, but it was taken away. Good defense there, keeping Jackson from trying to thread a pass. or to continue to be on the ball and take a shot. Off the 50-50 ball, it goes all the way back to the deep back for KC Dynamos, and they get it up to the central to where they can attack with it now. To the near side, though, it goes out of play, and they just could not get KT Martin to possess it. So now the Inter FC, the Premier, will throw it in. Try and see if they can get something going. Knocked out of play. Couldn't get anybody to possess it from the air side of things, and so now they bring it out of the foot. And it's knocked out again by the KC Dynamos. So they try another direction this time. It winds up in the central, but the Dynamos have it. And they have a runner down the central with a collision. No call. On the soccer ball now is Elizabeth Wilson. She wanted it to carom just over to KT Martin, but inside of her was one of the Inter FC Premier players and was able to take it away. Now retreating back there is Elizabeth Wilson, and she, on her retreat, heads that ball out of play. Doesn't want anybody to have a chance behind her to make a good quality play in the box. Here's Inter FC Premier to throw it in again. And it's knocked out by the Dynamos. So now they're in the attacking third, are the Inter FC Premier, with a good chance here. About 25 minutes gone here in the first half. We still are at a 0-0 situation in this match. And now Inter FC Premier required to play some defense here. The header, it goes backwards, and that's not the direction they wanted. Now down to central, but they have a teammate onto it. And Pippi Henry making a nice play down to central to get that ball out of danger. And now on the run, they, on the long ball, trying to get a player to win it. They do have it now, just outside the 18-yard box. The Dynamos now on the attack, and a quick attack after all that action in their own defensive third. Here they come now. Jordan J.J. Jackson centers it to the top of the box now. Trying to get another player to keep it in. Can't do it, as playing well in the back is Inter FC Premier. But here they still are on the soccer ball. They sent it towards the central, but can't do it again. And Inter FC Premier again, standing tall in and around their box and pushing it upfield. Onto it now is Taylor Eisenhower. Eisenhower drops it off for her teammate, who sends it down towards the box again. Getting a player to try to run onto it is Ariel Rank, and Rank had a little bit too much real estate to try to cover in a short period of time, because that ball had too much pace on it. And it goes past the goal line, and it is all set up for the keeper of Inter FC Premier to try and get it restarted now for her team to get a counterattack going. But this ball is driven and not nearly enough towards that near post, and so it is now going to be another goal kick. When it's a 0-0 score, it doesn't work for either team as far as driving the ball out of play. It just makes both teams have to have less time that they can work with to try to get a score into this game and get more than just the time. When you're tied up, the biggest thing that you want is that ball to stay in the field of play. And you want your teammates to be trying to coordinate plays to see if you can get a quality chance and get it in the back of the net. Inter FC Premier in their own defensive half. They get the long ball, but too long and too much pace for anybody to run onto it, and it'll be a throw-in. Nearly 28 minutes gone here in the first half in Phoenix, Arizona. Still no score between Inter FC Premier and the KC Dynamos. The throw-in as Wilson telling her teammates to retreat. or move further up the field. And the retreating of the Inter FC Premier is quite nice, as down to Central they're able to drive it back upfield, but keeping it, reducing that size of the field are the Dynamos. To the outside, and now a shot and a goal! Go, 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 go! La! Beautiful play that time, and the goal. They continue the pressure, continue to do what they needed to do to try and see if they can get a goal, and they did just that. Did the KC Dynamos, and now they lead in the contest 1-0. I believe that goal was by KT Martin, and it is 1-0. We will check for you, but I believe it was KT that scored the goal. As we restart it, and that actually was Marlborough that scored it. Morgan Marlborough scored that goal. So Marlborough, a beautiful goal that time, as she able to get that ball into space and take a good quality shot, and the keeper not able to protect it from going towards that far post and in the back of the net. And here's a drive, and this one goes out of play. So 1-0 now. The KC Dynamos lead as they continue their pressure, and there's moments in the game where you see the other team might be trying to take a breather, might not be paying attention to what you're doing, and then you work a good quality shot on them and you put it in the back of the net, and all of a sudden you lead by a goal, or you tie up the game, and or make it closer, your pursuit to try and tie up the game. So in this case, there was a 0-0 score and a 1-0 lead. Now on the near side, that ball coming past the near side touchline, out of play, and a throw in for the Dynamos in their own defensive half of the field, and they're not in a rush now that they lead 1-0. And substitutions coming into the contest for the KC Dynamos, and we will mention their names as they touch that soccer ball, as we always do on any substitutions that we do not actually get a chance to see their numbers. Ball knocked out of play on the near side touchline, so it'll be a throw in. KT Martin throws it in. Martin to her teammate, but after the collision, there will be a free kick, and a free kick will go for the Dynamos. And a short little pass that time by Taylor Eisenhower, looking for KT, and that ball is knocked out by Inter FC Premier. Maybe about 14 minutes left to play here in the first half. Official time being kept by the center ref on the field of play. Tyler Eisenhower into the 18-yard box, but it doesn't last there long as it is driven out. Down the central now. Reddish gets it out to the wide to her teammate Brau, and Lindsay will get it out of danger there. Reddish a touch. And now that ball in the space there for Marlborough. Marlborough getting it toward the central, and now to pass to the wide and the near side of the field here. And the collision there, that ball off the foot of the Inter FC Premier player, and it'll be a throw in. Still 1-0 here in the first half. KC Dynamos leading in this girls under 15 game in the President's Day Tournament 2006. Here's Marlboro into the corner now. A header, and that one not being able to be brought down by Amanda Bundrant. And Amanda would have loved to have been able to handle that pass by her teammate Marlboro. A throw in there. Kansas City Dynamos now down to Central, retreating back. And a quick touch, as you saw there, by Alex Hess to get it to her keeper, Shelby Brunton. And the ball knocked out of play. Well, actually kept in the field of play into the 18-yard box. Now down to Central. Marlboro, a quick touch, but then her teammate touches it and drives it towards the keeper, Price, and Price is able to make the save. Working down to about 8 or 9 minutes left to play in the first half. 1-0 is your score. KC Dynamos leading the Inter-FC Premier, the 91 Inter-FC Premier team. And it is into the attacking corner for the KC Dynamos, and they work it back upfield and onto the foot of Michelle Summers. Summers' pass, interior pass, is driven out at the last moment as she had a teammate there, but the defender played well in the space to get it out of there for Inter-FC Premier. However, now back up the field, the white and blue working their coordinated passing. A long ball with the pace on it that can be handled, though, by Ariel Rank. But she, under a lot of pressure, not able to turn and possess it. However, now Marlboro possesses it and left foots it and misses it on the near post. So it now will be a goal kick. And they say it was lastly touched, though, by Inter-FC Premier. So it is going to be a corner kick. And Morgan will take it into the corner for the corner kick. Morgan with the nice blue cleats gets it up in the air, and it is headed in to the back of the net, and a beautiful set piece try. 2-0. Beautiful situation created by Morgan Marlboro as she took that set piece try to corner kick. It headed towards the far post, and that ball was an own goal by Erica Beweg. Beweg was trying to get back and help out her keeper, but she was also at the same time trying to defend against Pippi Henry, and Henry was able to make Beweg try to defend too much, and she knocked it into the back of the net. And so Pippi Henry getting a lot of credit. At least if she doesn't get it on the scoreboard, she gets a lot of credit to help make that a goal. As well as Morgan Marlboro, who started it all with the CK. And now to throw in. To throw in into the corner and trying again. And this one is sent to the far side. And will it go out? It will. Sent on the far side by Taylor Eisenhower. And so now it'll be a goal kick set up by Chelsea Price. Her team now down by 2-0. And really, that last goal, she didn't really have much of a chance. It was a perfect piece by Morgan Marlboro. Throw in Nikki Dittman. Dittman looking for somebody in the space. Off the header, it goes out of play. About 6 or 7 minutes left to play here in the first half. And a big 2 on the scoreboard now for the Dynamos of the Kansas City area. Being filmed here by George Landman Video Sports Productions out of San Diego. And you think about Kansas City, one of the biggest things you think about on a positive side is there's a nice barbecue place downtown called a Kansas City Barbecue. And they do make very good ribs, and they do have very good food there, right down there in the gas lamp, the southern portion of the gas lamp district in downtown San Diego. Well, if you're in San Diego, you'll have to stop by there, the Kansas City Barbecue, and that's just one of the places that you might want to check out in the gas lamp district. As we are not partial to any certain one, but because it has the name of Kansas City and we are doing a Kansas City team here, we mention them. In the near side, on the run, Jordan J.J. Jackson. Nice shot, it turns out to be. Jackson just took a shot, and it was accurate. And the keeper, coming off her line, engaged it well, able to make the save. Jordan would have loved for maybe that ball to bend a little bit more away from the keeper and be able to get a teammate to run onto it and put it in the back of the net, but that didn't happen. On the outside, chasing after it, an NFC Premier, and Premier with just a few minutes left to try and cut the lead in half here in the first half. But they are down by a big 2 now instead of the 1 that they were about 7 or 8 minutes ago. Marlborough, and Marlborough has been instrumental in the reason why they are down 2-0. She has 1 goal and an assist. And here's Marlborough now. Marlborough accelerating down the central, but would not be able to go any further as one of the players for Inter FC Premier stepping and standing tall in that space and dispossessing Marlborough. That ball caroms now toward the central. They have another player trying to go down the middle, Michelle Summer, but she couldn't. However, she got a teammate from the outside who takes the shot, Jordan J.J. Jackson. And Jackson now becoming very accurate with her shots, engaging the keeper. And that's a thing that I'm sure Coach M.J. Tate has to be thinking about now. You got to get somebody to play a little bit tighter on Jackson, as she is getting open now, and her shots are becoming more of a threat towards putting a goal in the back of the net. And we have a whistle. And surely at halftime, both coaches, Tate and Safe, will talk to their teams and tell them what they need to do to try and either keep the lead in the case of the Dynamos, or in the case of the Premier, Inter FC Premier, to try to come back and try and tie it up or to be able to win it. Down to central now. Not in any kind of a rush is the white and blue as they have the 2-goal lead. The ball bounces out to the wide and outside the box. And they just draw it back and get it over there to Nikki Dittman, and Dittman pushes it forward just a little bit. Marlborough trying to possess it, cannot any further as it was taken away, as the wall and the players in the space able to get it out of further danger for Inter FC Premier. And now to throw in. The Dynamos leading 2-0 here. Running onto it there, Christy Klein, and a double whistle. And that is the end of the first half of action with your score. It is 2 for the KC Dynamos, 0 for the Inter FC Premier, the 91 team. We'll be right back in just a moment with the second half. Second half action set to get underway now, and going from left to right on your video screen is the Inter FC Premier, and now right to left is the FC Dynamos. New keeper in for the second half for the KC, I should say, if I said FC, I meant KC Dynamos. The KC Dynamos have Kelsey Gachauer starting in the net for the second half. And a throw in now will be Nikki Dittman. Nikki will try to get her team going in the attacking third. Off the header, Marlborough, and it goes toward the central. Chasing it down there momentarily was Pippi Henry, and it goes to the far side. Trying to keep it in there was Jordan J.J. Jackson, but it was lastly knocked out by the Inter FC Premier. And after the throw-in now, they're weaving their way just outside the box. It bounces over now to Michelle Summer, and a goal! Go, 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 go! Michelle Summer saw an opportunity and took it, and it is now 3-0 at KC Dynamo. So the Dynamos getting it into the back of the net for the third time in his soccer match here on the President's Day tournament in Phoenix, Arizona, in a girls under 15 bracket for 2006. And now on it is Jordan J.J. Jackson. Jackson gets it up to Pippi Henry, and Henry tried to repossess the ball in the space. Lastly touched out by her, and now it'll be a throw-in for the Inter FC Premier. And now that ball trickles over toward the central, but on it now is Klein, and then now Nikki Dittman. She can't possess it long enough, but finally the ball goes over to Marlborough. Morgan Marlborough getting her teammate to run onto it. Good passing here, KT Martin, but it's taken away and sent back up the field. Dittman couldn't possess it, but now she retreats back to try to get it, and pressure being put on toward the 18-yard box, and it is lastly knocked out by Nikki Dittman. Casey Voldness staying strong in her attacking position and not allowing a situation where she would have knocked it out and messed up an opportunity there for her team. And now it is set up offensively for Rachel Ulanch. The defender will try to get a good set piece going for Inter FC Premier. And that's a good strike into the central, but it is quickly struck back out of the 18-yard box. Now driven back into the box and to the wide side, where they weren't able to get another try at it. So Inter FC Premier coming right down after the goal, and a little bit extra action trying to do something more with it, the KC Dynamos, and they get something going here, and that's one of their better chances in the game, as Kelsey Gachauer getting it restarted, the keeper, and down the field for the KC Dynamos, and they'll throw it in from their own half of the field, trying to get the attack going again. As all of a sudden they get a touch here, and just another touch again in a critical space there, but not a goal, fortunately for MJ Tate's squad. But they are down 3-0, and they've got a lot of work to have a chance to tie this game. And retreating back again and putting a lot of pressure, and you can start to see a little more confidence by the Dynamos here in the second half, as they have found a way quite often now, or more often, to do the types of things that they want to do to win this soccer match. And if you're the Inter FC Premier 91 team, you have to now begin to find a way to shore that thing up and get it going in your direction. Like opportunities moments a few minutes ago when they had in and around an 18-yard box. They need a lot more of those to have a chance to win this soccer match, as they're down by 3 big ones. Here's the throw in. They've got to keep the ball in the field of play here in the second half. They can't afford for the ball to go out of play very often. They need to keep good coordinated touches and a good coordinated strong attack to try and put a lot of pressure on the defenders, maybe have them make a mistake for the KC Dynamos and be able to put something in the back of the net. Without that, it is going to be difficult for them to win this match. Nice move there by Jackson, and that one off the near post. As coming down was Bundrant, and Amanda, seeing an opportunity, wanted to try to get it, tuck it just inside that near post and make it 4-0. Bundrant back upfield as Nikki Didman ran by it. Didman getting a touch now, and in the space her teammates, and a whistle and a foul, and it is going to be a Inter FC Premier foul in the space and a free kick for the KC Dynamos there. Alex Hess getting it to the far side of the field as they want to try the attack, and that time went right by Bundrant and Nikki Dittman. And a quick touch there, trying to stab at it, was Pippi Henry. And again, the white and blue possess the soccer ball. Henry now, and a foul as the player ran on her back and knocked her down. Now off the free kick, Inter FC Premier now with the soccer ball, trying to continue in an attack of sorts here, and they having a hard time doing that. Winning it in the spaces, Jordan J.J. Jackson, who sent it out to the wide now. Here's KT Martin. Martin accelerates and changes her direction and gets it upfield to Pippi Henry in the attacking third, now into the box. The KC Dynamos again now, KT Martin, and playing well in the deep back to get it out. That time was Inter FC Premier. However, again, in and around the box, as trying to take a stab at it was KT Martin, and it was blocked. However, it is going to be a throw-in, as no player could possess it for the Premier, the Inter FC Premier. And so here again, the KC Dynamos putting the pressure on, and to the outside, it is now going to be a throw-in for the Inter FC Premier 91 team. They are down 3 scores here in the game, as we have seen about 9 to 10 minutes gone here in the second half. So only about 35 minutes left to play in this one. Check that, about 30 minutes left to play in this one. Not a lot of time, as they do not play, and I did the math wrong there. They do not play what they do in the FIFA World Cup soccer type stuff that we'll be seeing in June in Germany. They play 45-minute halves. 90 minutes of soccer. Not here in this tournament. And this one sent to the 18-yard box, but an offsides call. And now it's going to be a free kick Inter FC Premier will take it from there. Off the 50-50 ball to the near side. And it is kept in. Nicely done that time by Amanda Bundrant. And into the corner, Morgan Marlborough tried to thread the pass through, get a through ball into the center of the 18-yard box, but it was knocked out by Inter FC Premier. And a big chance there, as you know, Morgan Marlborough, very dangerous. And she just couldn't get anybody in that 6-yard box to bring it down in the back of the net, but she had players there. She definitely has been instrumental in the reason, highly instrumental in the reason why they are ahead 3-0. They being the KC Dynamos from the Kansas City area. And it is teed up in the corner of that 6-yard box. And it is going to be a goal kick. Almost about 12 minutes gone so far here in the second half. Morgan Marlborough, a little bit too hard on that pass. And not able to possess that one out of the Dynamos, and so now they'll have to play defense. The throw in, and it's intercepted again. Pippi Henry on a soccer ball, overruns it but stops, loses the player marking her, and now toward the interior. Down to central, but can't get another player to run onto it, and it's sent all the way back upfield. And Taylor Eisenhower heads it out of play, doesn't want it to get behind her. And so it'll be a throw-in for the Inter FC Premier. So the team in all blue, the Inter FC Premier 91 team, down by 3 goals, and they've got a lot of work to do in the second half to try to tie this one up. And here's where it starts, definitely. That ball is over to Morgan Rockwell, but she can't handle it, and taken away by the KC Dynamos. The Kansas City club trying to get another counterattack going, and they do now, as a long ball all the way down. 2 players for Inter FC retreat back, and a collision there, and that's lastly knocked out by Chase Joyner. So it is now going to be a throw-in for the KC Dynamos. So the Dynamos now an opportunity to work towards their attacking third again. From the far side of the field, the throw-in. Off the line drive, the header, and then one put towards the other side of the field. On it now is Amanda Bundrant, and a goal! Go, 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 la! Bundrant, service toward the central of the 18-yard box. And Ariel Rank was there, and she just put it past the keeper for the 4th goal of the game, and it is 4-0. Bundrant, a beautiful hustle into space, turned around, saw that she had a teammate standing tall in the central, and it was Rank, and Rank ranked well on that particular play with a 4-0 lead now for her team, the KC Dynamos. And now Inter FC Premier substituting players into the contest, and we will mention them as they touch this soccer ball. And a restart after the goal is underway. 4 goals now, and it is going to be extremely difficult for the Inter FC Premier to try to, the 91 team to try to come back and win this one. About all they can do now is try to make the score a little more respectable. As it is 4-0, and you see Morgan Marlborough working it to her teammate who changes direction, Michelle Summer, and getting it over to Morgan Marlborough again. And their passing is going real well right now. Here's Ariel Rank, who just scored a goal. Rank accelerates, gets around a defender, and then tries to send one towards the central of the 6-yard box, or as near to her teammates as she could. And that time it didn't quite work, but here they come again. It's blocked out. Marlborough gets a player to direct it right at the keeper, and that's Bundrant. And the keeper able to make the save, Price, but too many players were standing around there of white and blue variety, and that is not a good thing if you're the head coach, MJ Tate, and the Inter FC Premier. You can't have a lot of players standing in that 6-yard box without the defenders there to mark them. And if that's not the case, then you definitely are going to see another one put back in the net. And right now, the Dynamos very aggressive and, more importantly, very confident at what they've been trying to do. The game started off very slowly for both teams. Nobody could seem to get anything in the back of the net, but then it has opened up. And now, especially here in the second half, it's opened up much quicker here in the second half in the goal variety than it did even in the first half. Although the KC Dynamos scored 2 goals in the first half. But you can just see that they seem to have a measure of ability now to take over this game and even add more to the score as they have Marlborough on the run. A beautiful pass. Rank trying to get to it, standing tall and doing a fine job that time. Were the defenders in the back for the Inter FC Premier, but they are retreating back again as this ball heads across to that 18-yard box and trying to get onto it. There's a KC Dynamo player. However, Ariel Rank trying to possess that one could not, as the defender made Rank push it past the goal line. It's going to be a goal kick now, and a couple of players are going to come out now, and some other players are going to get an opportunity to get in there and get some action. Look like Marlborough is coming out. Look like Nikki Dittman is coming out, and with a 4-goal lead, they may not return. And what a game they've had so far. Sarah Christian puts it in the central, and trying to do something with it was Rank, and she could not. And so now the Inter FC Premier will throw it in. Down by 4. Katie Crossland who threw it in, and now it is out of the field of play at a near side touchline. And it will be a throw-in now. Taking it is Elizabeth Wilson for the Dynamos.
Somebody get behind Ariel. Hey, Casey.
And Wilson directing traffic. Looking for Rank. It goes over her head, but she gets a teammate to run onto it, KT Martin. But that doesn't happen for long as they take it away. Wilson gets another direction towards that 18-yard box. It bounces around now at the corner of the box, and chasing it down there was KT Martin. But now running onto it is Christy Klein. Klein, as they had made those substitutions, and as we mentioned earlier in the first half, we always mention the names of the players who touch that soccer ball and the substitutions if we don't get an actual chance to see them. To the outside now, and both number 4s after it, Erica Vieweg and Jordan J.J. Jackson. And it goes out of play last off of Vieweg, and it will now be a throw-in. $4-0 is your score. KC Dynamos here in the President's Day Tournament 2006. And they're going to try to keep their attack going here. Even though you have 4 goals, doesn't mean you don't stop playing. And, you know, the Dynamos can work on things that they may need to try to do better when they face a little stiffer competition. And this is an opportunity to work on just those things. And of course, great experience here for FC Premier, who facing a team from Kansas City that was ready to play in this one, and were ready to find out whatever it took to try to get the ball in the back of the net, and we're not going to be cavalier at it. They were going to continue to be relentless and keep that ball in the back of the net whenever they got an opportunity. And a substitution for FC Premier, as they want to get Lindsay Bra into the game. Bra into the game, and she is in there for one of her teammates. I believe it was Madeline Cartwright, or it could have been Erica Beweg, but either way, she's into the contest now, and another goal! Go, 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 go. Going down the field, and it is again Ariel Rank, and she's got 2 of them now in this contest. And it is 5-0. So Ariel Rank seeing the opportunity, and now she's got 2 of them here in the second half. And it is 5-0 your score. So your goals in the contest so far, Morgan Marlborough, Ariel Rank has 2 of them. Michelle Summer has a goal. And the other one would be an own goal, but Pippi Henry created that scenario. You don't know if Pippi will get credit for it, maybe so, but if that's the case, then it is, either way, it's still 5-0. And those would be your 5 names who scored the goals. Knocked out and on the far side touchline, and it's going to be a throw-in. Throw-in for the Dynamos of the Kansas City area, and that one is over the top of the net. About 24 minutes gone in the second half. And that means that we are more than halfway through the second half of action. And the way it's looking right now, the FC Premier would love to see that clock move a little bit faster. But then again, I'm sure their coach would love to see them put one in the back of the net. Maybe a couple in the back of the net. But right now it is not that case yet. Chase Joyner throws it in. Huge shutout going for the KC Dynamos right now. And they are looking good so far in this tournament. President's Day 2006 here at Phoenix, Arizona. Off the header to the wide side. The Dynamos trying to get somebody to run onto it. Rank is trying to possess it in the space. Can't do it as it's taken away. And now that ball is driven down as they're able to get a player from the back to possess it and send it down. And here they go again. Do the Dynamos, that time with Elizabeth Wilson. And a push in the middle of the field by Lindsay Bra. And a foul and the quick restart. Ariel Rank now on a run to the wide side, being chased there by Chase Joyner and knocked out by Rank. Joyner to the throw-in. Joyner watching that ball go behind her, and as she touched it lastly, trying to possess it. And a throw-in. The throw-in coming in for KC Dynamos on the far side of the field with a big 5-0 score. Over to Nikki Dittman. Dittman's pass was intercepted, but Dittman has it again further upfield. Dittman to the central now. And nicely pushing it forward, and with 2 soccer balls in the field, Jordan J.J. Jackson. But that doesn't deter her as she tries to accelerate toward the 18-yard box. She's routed off it, but a header and a goal! Go, 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 la! Ariel Rank scoring what they call in hockey the hat trick. 3 goals in this game. Amazing performance by Ariel and the KC Dynamos, especially Rank in the first half, was not really a factor, but is in the second half here. And the spacing here in the second half was just phenomenal for the Dynamos. As far as the scoreboard is concerned, they've got 4 goals here in the second half. And that is something that you don't see too often in a game of soccer, and they've just really taken the domination side of this game over here in the second half, as they have 6 on the board. And at this level, you seldom see games where there are 6 goals put by one team on the scoreboard, or do you see a 6-goal difference at this age? We are watching girls under 15 action, and the Dynamos are doing something you seldom see at their age group, and they are really having their way of it in this game and on the scoreboard, especially here in the second half. Didman with a free kick. About 7 or 8 minutes left to play in his soccer match. On it now is Didman. Didman's pass into the interior and on the wide there, trying to do something with it. Double teamed was Michelle Summer, and Summer, the ball goes out of play and a throw in. Going to be a throw in now for the KC Dynamos. The Dynamos leading in this contest 6-0. And they don't care if that ball trickles around in the other field, wastes time. And I'm not so sure InterFC Premier don't feel the same way. There's a time, wanting time to move on in this game. In certain ways, but at the same time, I'm sure they'd like to put something on the scoreboard before the game is out. Jordan J.J. Jackson just taking a drive there, not really worrying about the accuracy of it, and their teammates with a score up by 6. Now you see Alex Hess. Hess driving it down the field, and it goes out of play. They cannot possess it. They're just basically trying to play defense off the attack of the KC Dynamos. Hillary Johnson bringing it down there, but that was lastly touched out by the InterFC Premier of the Utah area. And that goes out of play now, and they'll have to throw it in again. They being the Dynamos. Nikki Dittman taking it again. just past midfield. Doesn't want to go to the interior, wants to go to the near side. Morgan Marlborough in the space, try to make a play, and center ref, a whistle. A little over 30 minutes gone here now in the second half. In this game, pretty much a foregone conclusion who's going to win. It's just a matter of what is the final score going to be. On it now in their own defensive half. Inter FC Premier toward the central of the field. And shielding the player off was Pippi Henry nicely. Marlborough can't get to it. Her teammates on it now, and that is Taylor Eisenhower for a moment. But Dittman gets it in the central and sends it up toward that box. However, won by and possessed by Inter FC Premier as they try and do something here toward the box, and running out way off her line was Kelsey Gachauer. And Kelsey saying, hey, I don't want to try to pick it up here. I'll just go ahead and drive it, even though she was running out of space there to pick up that soccer ball. And retreating back, Lindsay Brah. And Lindsay having a hard time. Into the corner now. Dittman goes down, and a foul, and let's see what the call is going to be. That was, I believe that one was in a box, and that is going to be a penalty shot. Dittman didn't go down. There was another player going down, and that is going to be a penalty shot. So Morgan Marlborough will take it. Trying to score a second goal. Marlborough scores! Go, 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 go! And she gets her second goal of the game and the seventh goal of the game for her team. And it is 7-0. Well, the Dynamos put the extra point and the touchdown on the board, so to speak. And a big 7-goal lead. One of those things that definitely in tournaments you don't see too often, not of this nature, where you have premier teams, as well as a big score like that in their age bracket. But here it is, 7-0. Inter FC Premier will learn volumes off this game and will be much better, obviously, the next time they take the field. And it is Elizabeth Wilson now, centering pass, trying to get somebody to run onto it into space. And when you watch the game in the beginning of the first half, you definitely didn't see one team that was so dominant over the other, or who would possibly be dominant over the other. But the way this game has turned around to be that way, it is a credit for Mike Safe and the KC Dynamos in getting the job done in that way, because they have said, we're not going to barely win this game. We are going to be very difficult for you to not only stop, but we're going to put enough on the board to let you know that the next time we ever meet each other, it is going to be something that you have to think about or do not want to think about. And that is the only problem whenever there's a big score for one team over the other, is that you either completely forget about that game the last time you met that squad, or you do remember and you make it part of your effort to make sure it doesn't happen again or anything near that. And so it definitely will remain to be seen what the Inter FC Premier Club decides to do after this game and how they come out. in their future matches, not only in this tournament, but in any other tournament in the future. And I'm sure that MJ Tate will have an answer for all of that. And I'm sure the measure of his squad will definitely do what they need to do also to help him out with that. And Morgan Marlborough almost on a run, almost put this one in the net for the 8th goal. Marlborough, a beautiful run, and I'll tell you what, whoever faces the Dynamos the rest of the way, they better bring it for 2 halves, because it is going to be tough to really stop them from winning this whole tournament. The Dynamos have come in here, and especially once they've gotten going, have continued their onslaught and have not let up at all. And that is one of the things that if you're a head coach, you want to see your squad continue to play hard all the way through the game. And the double whistle, and that is the end of the match. The final score, the KC Dynamos 7 and the Inter FC Premier, the 91 team, nothing. Michelle Summer and her teammate Morgan Marlborough, along with Ariel Rank, the big 3 goals, doing the job for the team from Kansas City, the KC Dynamos. I'm Greg G.K. Porter for George Langevin Video Sports Production, saying take care of yourself and God bless until next time. Save it on a hard drive. Bye now.